Okay, so this is the video that's going to show us how to do the drawings for your assembled clock. So you can't continue into this video unless you have the assembly fully complete, along with, in the configurations, when you click here, the cutaway and the exploded view done. Once you have all them things done, you can then move on to the final piece to do with this particular clock, which is the drawings. So I'm going to go to SolidWorks at the top. So I have my assembly open, so that's important, exactly as you see in the video now. And I go to SolidWorks, I go to File, I go to New, and I go to Drawing, and I click OK. Now, there's a small bit of work to be done here at the start. It's essential, and if you don't do this at the very start, you may restart the video again when it comes to printing out this particular page. You must pick A3 ISO. That's very important. If you do not pick A3 ISO now, you won't be able to fix it later. So select A3 ISO, click OK. The next thing to do is just to push the X on this for the moment. We need to remove all of this border that's on this page. So I'm just going to click here beside sheet 1. I'm going to click again beside sheet format 1. I'm going to go down to border. I'm going to right click border and I'm going to click delete border. I'm going to click yes. When I have that done, I'm going to right click anywhere I like on the page. I'm going to go to edit sheet format. I'm going to highlight everything and I'm going to push delete on my keyboard. And that gives us a blank page. Once you have that done, you click this button here in the top right, and now we're ready to move on again. When that's all done then, when you have the blank sheet like this, I need to bring in just a few things just to add a few little bit of touch of class to the project. And what I usually do is the school crest. So I'm just going to go to the internet and I'm going to get a school crest. Now you'll have to get your school crest for this. So I'm going to get any school crest for this particular thing. So I'm going to go to images. So I'm just taking any school crest I want. You should take your school crest. Don't just take a random one. So take your school crest. So I'm going to save that image. So I'm just picking this one, the first one. I'm going to save image as, I'm going to call it crest. I'm just going to save that to the desktop and click save. Again, I'm going to right click anywhere I like in this page. I'm going to go to edit sheet format. I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to Insert, I'm going to go to Picture, go to Picture. And I'm going to bring in that particular image that I just downloaded. And then I'm going to scale it down, doesn't need to be that big, and I'm going to just move it up here, top right hand corner of the page. Have that done, click the green tick, and then again click this button here to exit. So now on every page, you should see that you'll have the school crest on that page. Okay, and we might need to redo that again when we move on to the second page. So that's the page ready now to start doing our drawings. So I'm going to go to View Layout. I'm going to go to Model View. I'm going to click Assembly 1. That's the assembly of your clock. I'm going to click Preview. I'm going to select Wire Detail or Hidden Lines Visible. And I'm going to go use custom scale. I'm going to try 1:1. That's full size. That will fit. So that's the front view. So because SolidWorks is the American program, we're going to drop the front view here, but we're going to go up my mouse then, off the page, which is okay. I'm going to drop that anywhere I like there. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to go left with my mouse. I'm not clicking anything. I'm just moving my mouse, and I'm going to click again. I want to have that done. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click the green tick. And I'm going to drag that to be underneath, and I'm going to drag that to be at the side. Okay, so that's that done. Click the green tick. I then go to Annotation. I go to Smart Dimension. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to apply every single dimension onto this particular object, but you are going to try and put as many dimensions onto this as you possibly can. Like, for example, if I was to click the top line here and the bottom line here, I could put in the overall height of the object. If I was to click, would say maybe, this line here, the bottom line here, I can put in the overall width of the object. I can put in all the different radiuses for the circles. So you put in as many dimensions as you possibly can onto this project. Now there is other ways of doing this. You'll see that if you look up other videos, there's on the left hand side there's rapid dimensioning you can use. But what I find that does is it has a tendency to kind of get mixed up in the drawing, and it can be very difficult to pick out exactly what you want your measurements to be. But I'm literally just clicking and dropping. So apply as many dimensions as you possibly can. You won't put too little on it, don't worry. There's no such thing as enough. Put as many as you possibly can. And when you're happy with the amount of dimensions, click the green tick. Again, go back to view layout, go back to model view, go back to your assembly. This time click the 3D option. This time click full color. And you can leave the scale as 1:2, and we can drop that here. And we click the green tick. And then I'm going to go into my assembly. I'm going to move it around and I can maybe see it from the back, just like this. Maybe even put it up like this on its side. That's totally random. Then I go back into my drawing view, back into model view, double click assembly 1, and then in this little box here click current model view. Again, pick full color. You can leave it 1:2, and we can drop that somewhere here. And we click the green tick. Now with this you won't put on dimensions, but instead give it names. So you will go to annotation and you go to note. And I'm just going to click anywhere here, and that allows me to write a note. So I'm going to say axonometric view of Sony clock. So don't say 3D view, say axonometric view. Another thing you do then is go to note, maybe take an arrow out from the back here that I'm showing. You can say speaker. And just push escape twice. That's what you'll notice you're doing. So like when I click here, we'll say, for example, I'm going to say dial. When you click again, you'll notice that it's stuck to your mouse. Just push escape on your keyboard and that will remove it because it thinks you want to label more than one thing. And here we might say snooze button. And again, push escape again to stop saying that. Another thing we can do is a detailed view of this now, which would be a good thing to do with the underside. So I'm going to go to, let me see, annotation, we'll go to view layout. We're going to go to detailed view. And I'm just going to draw a circle just around that vent underneath, let's say the secondary speaker. And you see that a detailed view is now attached to your mouse. You can drop that anywhere you like. You might need to move some of your text and whatnot afterwards because it might be in the way, so I'm just going to move speaker up. I'm going to move detail A up a bit closer. And I'm going to slowly double click that. And that allows me to delete what it's called and call it detail view of second speaker. That speaker is actually where the alarm noise comes from. And that will do for page 1. Something like that will do absolutely fine for page 1. Okay, so that's finished. We can click save on that. And you can call this assembly 1 Sony clock. And we'll call it drawings. That's the safest thing to call it. And we're going to save that to the desktop in your folder, nice and safe. Now, okay, down at the bottom here then, there is this option to go to a second page. We're going to click add sheet. And we have to go through the same process now with this as we had to with the last one. Going to click the little arrow here beside sheet format, going to right click border 2, going to click delete, going to click yes. Going to right click, going to go to edit sheet format, going to highlight everything, going to push delete. And then I'm going to go SolidWorks, insert picture. We're going to go to the desktop. You're going to get your school's crest. Going to scale that down to it's nice and small. Try and keep it roughly the same size. And we're going to pop that up in the top right hand corner. Click the green tick and then again click this button here. We go to model view again. We still go to assembly one, but this time in the default button, I want you to click exploded, and then I want you to click show in exploded state. I want you to click the 3D button, which is here, and we'll leave it in full color. Now I might have selected the wrong exploded view here because there's two, so I'm going to select the second option. Now not much will happen when you change little things like that until you drop it, so I'm going to leave it as 1 as a 2, I'm going to drop it somewhere here, and it's updated then to explode. Click the green tick. Now the function of this is again to go to detail view, and you can draw a circle around that part, for example, and take an arrow out, and you'll see that it scales up. And then you can push escape, drag up the name of it closer to it, slowly double click that. You can leave it at scale 1 as to 1, that's a good thing to have. But instead of calling it detail B, call it detail of front face. And you repeat that process for all the other parts that you've exploded out here, just going around in a circle. Then again, go back into, so there's more than one to do there. Maybe do about 3. Okay, so you can pick another 3 to do there, depending on your exploded view. Then go to model view, again go to assembly 1, but this time instead of default or exploded, click cutaway. Again, click 3D, have a look and see. I might change that to diametric, that's a little bit different. And we'll do that in wire detail, and we'll change the scale to 1 as to 1, and we'll drop that up here. Now, sometimes you might see these things appearing out here on the outside, like this, and that's a very quick fix. If you go to the eyeball up here at the top, click the drop down arrow, and just untick this button here, and that'll turn off all sketches. And again, you can go into detail view and you can talk about this. Maybe what would be better is go to annotation, go to note, and you might say, you know, inside of speaker, of radio speaker. You also should actually give this a name. You might go to note and just drop a box here and say cutaway of Sony clock, like that. And that will probably take up a lot of the information that you need to put in here. The last thing then to do is to bring in maybe a couple of parts in their own. Now, it's up to you as to which parts will be important to bring in. So I'm going to go to view detail, I'm going to go to model view, but instead of going to assembly 1, I'm going to browse. And like, I'm going to go into the folder and I might bring in the main body. No, do you know what? Instead, I'll bring in the clock buttons and I'll click open. And I click yes. Now, so I might want the top view, so I'm going to click this button here so I can see them from the top. We'll leave them in full color. And we might change the scale from 1 as to 1 to 1 as to 2. I know, we'll go 1 as to 1. And we can drop that anywhere we like. And you might then go into annotation, so I click the green tick, annotation, go to note, and you might write a note here saying buttons and switches for Sony clock. Because you couldn't probably show that on page 1, what you could now go to is Smart Dimension, and you could dimension those buttons as to what size they are all the way around. Nice, easy way to measure up the buttons. And after a little while, that page will probably fill up. Again, you have all the detail views done here. So if I go to, let me see, view layout, detail view, and I draw a circle around that snooze button and drag that out and write about it. And let's say I did a detail view again of, I don't know, the dials here on the side, and I take that out and I show that down here. That page is going to fill up very, very quickly. So that's how you will complete them 2 pages, which is, I think in the report is output 4. I could be wrong. Just be conscious here, this bottom area down here on the left-hand side of the sheet, you need to try and keep that kind of empty. Because when you're printing on SolidWorks, what you will see happen is it'll print out SolidWorks education version. And if you have information down here in the bottom left-hand corner, it'll be in the way of your drawing. It'll be on top of things you might have put down. So just be careful of that. Maybe just keep things up a little bit, as much as you can, that they won't, it won't be in the way. That's all. So that's sheet 2, and that's sheet 1, and that's your drawings done. When you have that done, click Save All. Another important note to make is when you're updating the colors and whatnot on this, your drawings will automatically update. So like I can see that snooze button there now, it's not the correct color, neither is this base plate, but when you're updating the colors as I shown in the last video, this will automatically update as you go along too. So that's a good thing. The last thing to do then, folks, is to just pack and go this into your Part A folder. So you go File, Pack and Go. Make sure everything is ticked on the top, Browse. You're looking on the desktop and on your USB key for the Part A folder. Click Select, click Save, and then click Yes to All. And then click Yes again. Now it'll just take a few minutes to say all the yeses. And that's it. That's your drawing sheets done. Okay, thanks very much.